Forestry!
What is it?
Forestry is the science or practice of planting, managing, and caring for forests. It also has to do with the economical side of forestry.
Specifically, industrial forestry has the goal to produce raw materials necessary for creating products.
Many aspects fall under the broad umbrella of forestry. In this documentary, our aim is to inform you about the sustainability of this industry and how it can contribute to a greener future.
Forests have always been an important part of our lives, whether we know it or not. Let's take a look at Canada's forestry history. Forests cover a large part of Canada, and forest products have been used since Canada's beginnings. Aboriginal peoples were very connected to the forest and used the wood from forests for shelter, tools, containers, and transportations, such as canoes. Forests have also been used for what they house, such as animals for hunting and a source of food, and for fur trade. In the 19th century, forests were used primarily for these sources. The French also used wood for shipbuilding and fuel, and only a small part of wood was exported to different countries. Later on in the 19th century, forests were used for their timber, and pioneers and immigrants used the wood to export to Europe for domestic and export markets. The use of materials such as iron, brick, and steel saw more of a decline in the timber industry. Forests were used for their wood pulp and exported to US and Europe, and paper mills were created. The wood industry has constantly played a key role in the Canadian economy and is second to agriculture, but the forest resources are being exhausted in the east. Today, when trees are felled, all of the tree is used. Large sections are used for lumber, small are used for paper, and the scraps are used for biomass fuel. In the middle of the 20th century, when forest exploitation shifted to Western Canada, the conservation and reforestation policies came into being. And that's the history of forestry!
In Canada, approximately 640 million trees are planted every year. Tree growth is more rapid in other parts of the world than it is in Canada. This is due to favorable climates and growing conditions. Therefore, tree breeding programs across the country work to maximize the quality and productivity of Canadian trees. This is done through innovative methods to produce seedlings that will not only grow quickly, but will produce trees with desired fiber attributes, resistance to pests, and adaptability to climate change. The forestry industry has developed a new technique which improves upon conventional tree breeding techniques called multivarietal forestry, or MVF. MVF works by matching a genetically enhanced seedling with its optimal growing conditions. For example, the white spruce tree is planted in New Brunswick, which is its optimal growing conditions. MVF practices have resulted in a 20% increase in product over non-MVF forestry. In addition, because the seedlings are genetically enhanced to grow to a predictable size and quality, transportation and sorting costs are reduced.
A green economy is an economy that is low in carbon, resource efficient, and socially inclusive. The forestry industry will play a positive role in the green economy because they are beyond just sources of wood. Biomass is a biological matter derived from living and dead organisms in the forestry industry. The forest industry provides biomass which dwarfs all other renewable energy. Nowadays, wood composite and other materials frame multi-story housing structures with a much lower energy footprint than concrete alternatives. Sustainably managed forests play an essential role in the carbon cycle and provide environmental and social values and services. Canada is the second largest exporter of primary forest products in the world. This country's forest sector is among the top 5 contractors to the nation's net trade. The United States and Western Europe have long been the major markets for Canada products. Canada's forest products exports contribute $17.1 billion in the net trade. Approximately 47% products are northern bleached softwood kraft pulp. Canadian is the largest share of the NBSK market, amongst 1/3 of the world's production and 3/4 of total NBSK production in North America. The world production of newsprint is approximately 32 million tons, and Canada is the single largest producer. Current production capacity of about 4 million tons, or 12% of the world. However, demand of newsprint in North America has fallen 65% since 2000. Canada is one of the world's largest producers and exports of softwood lumber. Softwood lumber accounts for 20% of the value of Canada's forest products exports. The largest export market for Canada is the United States.
A sustainable forest is a forest that is carefully managed so that, as trees are harvested, they are replaced with seedlings that will eventually grow into mature trees. This is a carefully and skillfully managed system. Great care is taken to ensure the safety of the wildlife and preserve the natural environment. I am here in the Shawinigan Lake Research Forest in coastal British Columbia, a forest used for researching new sustainability techniques. This research forest was established over 40 years ago. It has been measured repeatedly to study the biology and development of the second growth Douglas fir ecosystems in relation to intensive forest management practices, such as harvesting and replanting. A second growth forest, such as this one, is a forest in which sustainability practices have been implemented. It's practices like this that will allow Canadian forestry to be sustainable and supply for our future generations.
There are many ways that the forestry industry enables energy conservation and environmental solutions. When forests are managed in a sustainable way, they are able to provide services such as water purification, conserve wildlife habitats, and carbon sequestration. Forests play a key role in many environmental solutions. Importantly, forests use carbon dioxide in the air to produce oxygen and store carbon. This produces greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Forests are an important part of the water cycle by improving water quality, and they conserve animal habitats. Forest genomics, or the study of DNA in trees, leads to many ways in which to improve forest environment by tree breeding, remediation, and pest diagnostics. Bioenergy is a renewable source of energy that helps to replace fossil fuel-based energy and products. Bioenergy is derived from biomass, which is increasingly being harvested without harming forests. The industry also allows for recycling and reusing products, lessening the need for cutting down an unnecessary amount of trees. These are ways in which the forestry industry enable energy conservation and environmental solutions.
There are lots of opportunities for people like you and me in the forestry industry, from camping in the hundreds of national parks in Canada to getting a job as a park ranger. Toronto and all of Canada is covered in forests, and the possibilities are endless. There are countless job opportunities, education opportunities, and ways to learn more about Canada and its natural history. Go online and find a camping ground, or look for ways to get a job in the hundreds of national parks. Maybe you can take a friend and spend a day in the woods and learn about the amazing trees that are a necessity to this beautiful world. So take a walk on the wild side and discover the forestry industry.
Forestry
Means
Sustainable
future. Accounts for 20% of the value of Canada's
is second agriculture, but the forest is covered. It was done. Oh.
We need your help.